talking to them about how he believes they can make a contribution using existing world structures like the African Union, like the United Nations. So all those issues will be brought to the fore by Kofi Annan a little later today. Of course, as I said earlier, the shadow of the Kenyan shootings looming large, but organizers did assure everybody, including the delegates from around the world, over close to 200 countries are being represented here by young people drawn from business, from who are doing work with NGOs, young school kids, entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs who are doing things for themselves. They will be talking to each other, trying to influence each other, but also to inspire one another about how they can work. Now, I am being joined here by a few school children who are from South African schools, who are going to tell us why they are here and how they believe that being here is going to help them be better people and indeed change the world. Tell us who you are.
My name is Jessica Simalani. I'm from the General Smith Youth Press Team.
Why are you here, Jessica?
I'm here because I think this is a great opportunity for the young to voice their concerns and to prove that we do have concerns, we do have thoughts on how the world is working, and we are willing to do something about it. And I think it's great that the voices of the young are finally being recognized.
I guess the question a lot of people are asking at home is how people who came here or who are part of this have been chosen. How were you chosen from your school?
Our school is part of a program called iSchool Africa, where they go around and they are actually empowering children to become members of the press themselves. So we're like press teams in training, and they thought it would be a great opportunity for us to actually cover these things, to learn beforehand how these things work and what we will be experiencing in the future. And this is great because it is a platform for the youth, so it's great that they have youth press teams covering such a great event, and it feels great.
It feels so good. Have you met any interesting people or people you'd have wanted to meet before?
I've seen people from a distance that I'd like to meet, and I hope we get a chance to interview them. And I've heard some pretty inspiring stories today already from people who I didn't know at all, but now knowing them, this is also a great opportunity to enlighten people as to people that you don't know before, and it's great to meet you.
Thank you, Jessica. Thank you so much. Joined by another young gentleman by the name of Sam Muketi. Sam, why are you here?
Basically, I'm here to represent my school and also iSchool Africa because we were invited here to take footage to make a great video for the whole youth of South Africa to see of such a great event that is happening in our city, in our capital city, that is Johannesburg. Yeah, that's basically why I'm here.
And what do you think you'll be taking out of this summit to your mates at school, your mates in the township where you live?
Because there are like great mentors and leaders coming to this event, I'm here to like kind of seep in all the information, all the knowledge from these esteemed people who are like trying to cultivate the youth and make them aware of their potential and their power to change this world. And I truly believe that the world can change this world because we are the future generation. I mean, with us, there is no change because, old people are already old. There's no way that it can come back and try to change the world. So it is upon us, the youth of South Africa and the whole world, to try and change the world for the better and to stop war and to vindicate peace in everything that we do.
We wish you all the best. Good luck.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, two young South Africans here talking about how they feel about being here, but also what they hope they are going to get out of this summit. Well, for now, it's back to you, Peter.
Bosa ke o mang entle ke iso di bosa ka ofela ha le bosa go makhaya ha di bosa go spane ha di bosa go church wa ba itse bosa ke o lo para mbebula pula ena wa mitse staring ke ngwatso ba phagama e wena wa re entle ke sa pasla pasa
young world, can you hear me? Once again, it is such a great privilege and honor to stand here and welcome you to the City of Gold, to Johannesburg, to South Africa, and to One Young World 2013. And I hope that you are ready for what awaits you this coming week, a journey of a lifetime, a life-changing journey. And now we'd like to start off the proceedings of the evening in the proper manner. So please, here to lead us in the singing of the national anthem, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Grammy and Emmy Award-winning Soweto Gospel Choir. Once she gets onto the stage, she will absolutely blow your minds away. But now, let's talk about this evening. It's all about One Young World 2013. Here you are this evening in Johannesburg. A very proud city indeed. I want to ask our friends there, please, thank you. We do need to start off with the evening's proceedings. As I was saying, it's such a proud moment to welcome you to Joburg, this very proud city indeed. And I know that many of my South African brothers and sisters, the youth, might be asking, why now? Why South Africa? Why Johannesburg? And it's because the time is now. Africa is rising. South Africa is rising, and it's all happening right here. You are the young people from the most important city in Africa, Johannesburg, and it's amazing to be here right now. Let me give you a bit of a background. This city is the economic hub of South Africa. Movers and shakers of South Africa come here to test out their mettle in all forms of industry. Historically wise, we said it a bit earlier on, in 1995, the Rugby World Cup was hosted here, and in one swoop after that glorious glorious strike by the legendary Joel Stransky, this country won the Rugby World Cup, thus uniting this nation like never before under sports and, of course, under the leadership of our legendary president, the great Mr. Nelson Mandela. Also, in 2010, this very stadium that you're sitting in tonight hosted the opening and the closing ceremonies of the FIFA World Cup. Once again, a milestone in this country's history. And as we come here tonight, this is also a moment in history because One Young World is being hosted on African soil for the very first time. And I think that deserves a huge One Young World applause. Now, let's also take a moment right now. We have a video clip for you that comes from His Worship, the Executive Mayor of the city of Johannesburg, Councillor Mpho Parks Dau, to officially welcome you to Johannesburg. Please take a look.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Parks Dau, Executive Mayor of the City of Johannesburg. Let me, on behalf of the City of Johannesburg, welcome all delegates to the One Young World Summit. Let me also acknowledge the presence in Johannesburg today of Mr. Kofi Annan, Sir Bob Geldof, Ms. Kate Robinson. In particular, let me acknowledge the presence of the Freeman of the City of Johannesburg, Mr. Ahmed Kadrali. I'd want to acknowledge, of course, the presence of the 20 delegates of Johannesburg that would be present at this conference and the more than 100 delegates of South Africa. We wish you all well in your deliberations and productive participation at the summit. In our respective cities, we have a responsibility to grow young people, to ensure that they assume the responsibilities of leadership, but also ensure that they get exposure to networks and partnerships with their peers and colleagues. I will, over the weekend, be present as we hand over to our colleagues in Dublin. I leave you in the capable hands of our Acting Executive Mayor, Councillor Ruby Matang, who would speak to you on behalf of the city. Thank you very much.
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Acting Executive Mayor of Johannesburg, Councillor Ruby Matang.
Program Director, the City Manager, other officials present here today, One Young World co-founders, David James and Kate Robertson, One Young World councillors, One Young World 2013 Advisory Board members, 2013 Summit delegates that are here from all over the world, members of the media, sponsors, distinguished guests. Exactly 50 years ago, the world was inspired by the leadership and convictions of the late Dr. Martin Luther King, who galvanized the struggle for equality and full civil rights in the United States of America. Right here in Johannesburg, South Africa, our own struggle against minority domination for freedom and liberty for the majority of South Africans reached its own apex at exactly the same time. Many of the icons of our liberation movement, including three prominent people who have received freedom of our great city, Nelson Mandela, Ahmed Kathrada, Walter Sisulu, were preparing to stand trial on charges of high treason against the apartheid regime. Making a statement from the dock only hours before he was sentenced to serve lifetime imprisonment on Robben Island, Nelson Mandela recalled his own journey to political and social consciousness and his commitment to give up his life, if need be, in pursuit of the ideals of freedom for his people. I quote, "During my lifetime, I have dedicated myself to the struggle of the African people. I have fought against white domination, and I fought against black domination. I've cherished the ideal of a democratic and free society in which all persons live together in harmony with equal opportunities. It is an ideal for which I hope to live for and to achieve, but if needs be, it is an ideal for which I'm prepared to die." Close quote. More than 14,000 kilometers away in the city of Atlanta, Dr. Martin Luther King was putting final touches on an inspirational book with the title Strength to Love. "The ultimate measure of a man," he wrote, "is not where he stands in a moment of comfort and convenience, but it is where he stands at times of challenge and controversy." Dr. King was only 26 years old when he led the Alabama bus boycott and started a march across America, igniting civil rights movement. Our own Nelson Mandela was barely 30 when he was first elected as provincial president of the African National Congress and embarked on his long walk to freedom that culminated in his election as South Africa's first democratic president. Today, in the city of Johannesburg, a new generation of young leadership are gathered to confront new challenges, open up new frontiers, and offer new solutions to the issues the world is facing. Program Director, Mr. Kofi Annan, our highly respected former General Secretary of the United Nations, Sir Bob Geldof, Ms. Kate Robinson, distinguished delegates that are here, I am delighted to welcome you to one of the youngest major cities in the world, a city born out of humankind's quest for mineral wealth, started by entrepreneurs, built by the labor of local communities, strengthened by a bustling commerce and trade sector, enriched by immigrants from India, Europe, Somalia, Bangladesh, Kenya, and the rest of our African continent. This is particularly youthful city on a youthful continent. Exactly half of our population is under the age of 34, and some 42% is younger than 24. This has the potential to create a very exciting, dynamic, and vibrant society with a strong emphasis on innovation, enterprise, and creativity. It is a great opportunity for Johannesburg to host a conference of such importance, attracting more than 1,200 delegates from about 190 countries. It is also a great opportunity for us as the city of Johannesburg to showcase the youth talent that we have. The city sending 20 delegates to the summit. We're proud of their brilliance, their devotion to humanity, their commitment to make a difference in the lives of those around them. Through this, the city is investing in the youth, and in so doing, investing in the future. Ladies and gentlemen, in recent years, Johannesburg has become synonymous with the hosting of major global events, conferences, and exhibitions. 3 years ago, the entire world watched the drama of the 2010 Soccer World Cup unfold right here in this beautiful stadium. For a brief period in time, we would place the worries of global conflict and human tragedy somewhat on the back burner. while we celebrated the wonder of youthful skills and achievement on the playing field. Tonight, we again have the youth of the world convened in a single venue in the city of Johannesburg. Again, we meet against a backdrop of rising tensions, simmering wars, and continuing concerns about global inequalities, endemic poverty, and the denial of rights to women and children in many societies. But also we meet in a spirit of hope and expectations. Ladies and gentlemen, delegates, as someone who grew up in the liberation struggle, I'm of a firm believer in the conventional wisdom that says the youth is the leadership of tomorrow. In a rapidly changing world, we simply don't have the luxury anymore to marginalize the youth from decisions and processes that affect their daily lives. We cannot tell the youth that they should wait their turn before they can undo the harm they do by climate change, before they can offer solutions for endemic poverty, hunger, and diseases, before they can campaign for respect of the rights of women and children, before they can confront warmongers and dictators hell-bent on global destruction. It is therefore encouraging to note that one of the primary slogans of One Young World is that it is the organization where young people start leading. And I'm inspired both by the variety and relevance of your agenda as you discuss issues of great pertinence to our society. In a few months' time, the mayors and decision makers of the world's largest city will meet here in Johannesburg for the C40 Summit on Climate Change. For the first time, this important gathering will take place in Africa, and it is clear recognition of the growing importance of the Global South in international affairs. I want to appeal to the summit in the city in October 2030 to send a very clear message to the forthcoming Joburg C40 Summit in February 2014 that we cannot continue with business as usual approach to climate change and resource issues. Ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, I trust that you will thoroughly enjoy your stay in our city. I trust that you will take time off with your busy schedule to explore, experience, and enjoy our city. The iconic places where most of hosted the unique music, culture, and cuisine of the world African city. I wish you an enjoyable conference. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Rumatang, and also thank you very much. Also, a very big thank you I must convey to Councillor Mayor Dau, and I'm sure that you all are looking forward to a great event. You will all be seeing him on Saturday, of course, at the closing ceremony when he will be presenting the host city baton over to the 2014 host, Dublin. So look out for that. Now, just a quick point, please, my friends, on this side, and everyone on this side. This is very important, please. As I've asked before, that when someone is on stage addressing you, please, you must keep quiet so you can hear what they say. The mayor quoted a very important thing here, saying that this is where young people start to lead. In order to be a good leader, you must be a good follower. Can we please get some calm there? Thank you very much. Guys, this is very important. This is where we start. We want to start off on a very, very good note. But let me not waste any further time. I've got to introduce you to a group of people without whom this would not have been possible. And they are the Johannesburg Advisory Board. I'm going to start off with Mr. Peter Burden first, who is the African Bureau Chief.
Welcome back to this gathering, the opening session of this summit where thousands of young people from all over the world are gathering here to talk about issues affecting young people, but also how they, as young people can actually change the world. They'll be talking a whole range of issues ranging from education to unemployment of young people, entrepreneurship, how to make it in business, and all those things. So they have gathered here they'll be gathering here over the next 3 days, as you have heard, to talk about it, but also to be inspired by speeches and conversations with some of the world's leading figures, among them Kofi Annan. But they will be also hearing from entrepreneurs like Richard Branson, the founder of the Virgin Group. They will also be hearing from local struggle veterans like Ahmed Kathrada. They will be hearing from someone like Mr. Trevor Ncube, who is the Mail and Guardian's CEO. So all those people, Francois Pinar, the former captain of the Springboks, will also be interacting with these young people. All of them have one agenda in mind, and that is to change the world for the better. So they'll be talking here as equals, but also drawing inspiration from the speeches, but also cases where they will be examining, for example, among the topics to be examined will be the life and times of Nelson Mandela, and how they as young people can actually draw some lessons from the life that he has lived, and indeed make their contribution in making this world a better place. Now, they have just heard from welcoming remarks from the acting mayor of Johannesburg, who indeed reinforced the notion that the organizers told us about a little earlier as to why Johannesburg has been chosen. Johannesburg is a world-class city. It's a metropolitan place, but also it has the kind of mix that the world is increasingly moving into, where young people are free to have conversations among each other, but also to share ideas, to inspire each other. And he just made those remarks just now. A little later, they'll be hearing from Mr. Kofi Annan in that much anticipated welcoming address. For now, though, it's back to you in the studio, as the mood here is getting more and more festive and people are getting excited, looking forward to the speeches and some entertainment a little later.
This team have driven the bid for the city of Johannesburg to host the One Young World since early 2011. She granted the right to host the city. They've been working so hard. It's great to see you again. Please welcome onto the stage. We now move on to the CEO of Brand South Africa, Mr. Miller Matola. Now, Mr. Miller has supported One Young World since the early days of the bid process, and he and his team supported the One Young World team to gain visa-free entry systems into the country, thus making it a lot easier for us to all be here. Welcome, sir. Thank you very much. Next up, Rich Mkoda, who's the Executive of Corporate Affairs at the MTN Group. And of course, they are the national host sponsor of One Young World Summit 2013. They're doing some great work. They've had delegates partner up since 2011 in Zurich. And each year they send delegates from 20 plus African, Middle East and Middle Eastern countries. And they'll be hosting some great talks throughout the summit. We move on to Marlene Moodley, who's the Head External Relations of Sub-Saharan Africa, McKinsey & Company. Welcome. Now, Marlene has offered great support throughout the year in engaging effectively with One Young World ambassadors, and with McKinsey & Company, she has created a bespoke mentorship program as ambassadors based in South Africa take part in. Thank you. Welcome. And now, Mr. Trevor Ncube, the Executive Deputy Chairman of Mail and Guardian, and his support throughout the year has been involved in advertising and media support of the Mail and Guardian, as well as a public search throughout Africa via Mail and Guardian networks for two outstanding delegates with technical and digital-based communities, making impact in those communities. They're here to champion the summit this year. Next up, I'm sure somebody whom you all know, Catherine Peter, who's the Africa Director of One Young World. She's done amazing work in growing One Young World. She moved over from London, coming over to Africa. And she's grown the numbers in a huge kind of way since her first year, from 18 to this year, where we see all 54 African countries represented, the first in any event in the world. Well done, Catherine. Next up, Nambidu Petsana, who's the City of Johannesburg Group Head of Communications and Tourism, and she and her team have led the City of Johannesburg's official hosting and sponsorship of the Summit 2013, securing the support of the opening ceremony, all the security, the marketing, everything that you see over here, they made possible. Thank you so much to you and your team. Next up, Mr. Marcus Soror of Wagner Edstrom, South Africa. He's the managing director over there, Marcus, and his team have supported One Young World since 2011. Great to see you here, sir. And they've been building relationships with a whole lot of media that's giving exposure to One Young World all across South Africa, all across Africa as well. Next up, Nolita Fakude, Sasol Limited's executive director, who's also the chairperson of the advisory board, and she and her team, and she as a chairperson led the advisory board, and she served to create a strong, committed group that is determined to ensure the brilliant summit with a powerful legacy that will last on in South Africa and, of course, the continent. Last but not least, Mr. Jeff Rothschild, who's the head of government and international affairs of the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. Welcome to you, sir. And he has been instrumental to the One Young World Africa team with the relationships, the contacts, the advice, and the moral support that he has offered in making this possible. Ladies and gentlemen, please, one more One Young World round of applause for the Johannesburg Advisory Board. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. And now we move on, guys. I'd like to introduce you to a man who's at the head of an organization that has made it its mission to empower young South Africans by ensuring that all stakeholders prioritize youth development through identifying and implementing solutions that address youth development issues. Now, One Young World, please welcome the chairperson of the South African National Youth Development Agency, Yunus Pillay. Round of applause, please.
Viva One Young World, viva! Viva One Young World, viva! We are young and we are alive. We are young and we are alive. Distinguished guests, young leaders of the world, it is a great honor for me to stand here today and welcome you all, the great young patriots of our different nations, to the One Young World Summit 2013. The world has become one big global village through interconnectedness, through global communications, making it easier for communities to share same interests and concerns. While the age of technology has fostered the idea of a unified global community, it becomes important for real-time interactions among young people of the world especially to share similar goals and objectives. For this reason, the National Youth Development Agency, South Africa's premier agency on youth development matters, has embraced the idea of the One Young World global movement as a platform to bring together the youth of the world to participate in critical discussion that will help shape the future. As young leaders, we must be like lions, brave, courageous, and just, providing solutions to the problems of the world that the world faces. As this summit takes place in Africa for the first time, we urge all young people who have been given this opportunity to participate in this summit to grab it with both hands and make the most of it. In South Africa, we say, nothing about the youth without the youth. Only we as the youth of the world can change the world. I urge you to take this opportunity to make lasting connections, creating lasting positive change. 1,000 or more youth have gathered here in the city of Johannesburg from more than 130 countries to solve or help to shape the discussions needed to solve the challenges we face as the world. Any lessons learned as part of our discussions and interactions at this summit must find expression and result in lasting positive change in the communities we come from. We want to welcome you all on behalf of the youth of South Africa to this great nation. And we are confident that your stay will spark the change that we need to see for a better, more prosperous world order. I thank you.
Yes, please. A big round of applause for Mr. Yunus Pillay, the chairperson of the National Youth Development Agency, as well as the Johannesburg Advisory Board. Thank you very much for joining us, and thank you for the amazing work that you do to make this possible. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Great to see you. Thank you. Thank you, sir. And now, ladies and gentlemen, you all realize the one big thing about One Young World is that delegates are amazing leaders in their own right. And the impact that One Young World makes when you leave the summit, it doesn't just stay here. That creative, positive energy gets carried with you. And it's all about making that difference when you go out there back into your communities, having formed those bonds, those friendships and those relationships with your fellow delegates, that you take that with you and you go back home and you make a real change. Now, we want to show you just some of the amazing things that have been done over the past couple of months. Please cast your eyes to the screens.
Wherever we are, we can make a difference.
Your creative powers, your command over technology can change the world just like that.
I truly believe that your generation has our future in your hands.
Yeah, you can be the greatest, you can be the best.
One of the coolest things about this experience is the impact that it's having on people like yourself and myself, inspiring us to see what can be done.
A 17-year-old Eton student has just made history as the youngest person to make not one but 3 journeys to the North Pole.
This is largely part of a larger, sort of more significant mission to do with climate change.
We have so much power at our fingertips. With social media, we're so connected, and we have the ability to mobilize groups of people to take action.
There ought to be an addendum about what we're actually going to do to turn our good intentions into real changes.
I'm going to be sharing messages of what homophobia is, what homophobic bullying looks like, and the impact that it has on other people.
Walk straight through hell with a smile. You could be the hero, you could get the gold. Breaking over records, they thought never could be broke. Yeah, do it for your people.
I'm going to introduce an organization called School Bag that provides school supplies to students in places like Haiti. It's the simplest things that make the biggest difference.
When the media and my professors tell me that I'm part of the lost generation, I can't stand it. The future is now.
My name is Clinton Gachangi. I am a One Young World ambassador. But we cannot simply sit and wait for things to happen. Malala didn't.
The idea of combining forces, old and young, I think is a wonderful idea.
Right to break barriers, right to destroy boundaries, right to push for peace, right to spread compassion.
Young people are getting pulled into these discussions.
Canada, Australia, America.
One Young World ano samste.
I think it's important to create this concept of transnational leadership.
It is in our power to make the world anew. It's not in my power anymore. It is in yours. Go ahead and do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage the founders of One Young World, Kate Robertson and David Jones.
So thank you, Cat Lego. Can we give a huge round of applause to Cat Lego? Amazing job. We'll be seeing you later. Hello and welcome to One Young World 2013 in Johannesburg. And we'd like to hear those vuvuzelas go off, please. Kate.
I am especially proud to be here. This is the place where I was born, and it is an honor to be able to bring One Young World home. And now, it's also an honor to introduce you to the Sasol South African National Youth Orchestra. They're going to play for you. Hello.
Can we have the orchestra, please?
Can we have the orchestra, please? Are you there?
Yeah, we're ready. Bring the orchestra in.
They are coming.
Okay.
Okay. Play Vuvuzelas.
So it's absolutely wonderful.
I want to tell you something.
So,
I want to tell you something. Hold on. Okay?
So it's an amazing device to be able to fill any pauses in tonight's ceremony, but we now have the orchestra, please.
Are they
Bring
ready?
them on.
Yes. They're over here. Orchestra, please. Somebody, orchestra, please.
Don't be shy. Here we go.
Fantastic. Yes, Soweto Youth Orchestra. Thank you to them, and I would just like to add a special word of thanks here to the chair of the One Young World Summit Johannesburg Advisory Board. You saw her earlier, Nolita Fakude, the Executive Director of SASOL. Big cheer. Thank you, Nolita. Thank you.
So we have huge expectations of One Young World 2013 in Johannesburg. And to allow the crew behind me to seamlessly change the set to allow us to welcome our famous councillors, but more importantly, to demonstrate to you what happened at One Young World 2012 in Pittsburgh and why we are hoping and expecting that One Young World 2013 in Johannesburg is even better. Here's a short video with the highlights of One Young World last year. So if we could play that video, please.
I want to meet a lot of new people, and I also want to understand what sustainability means to them, because it means a lot to me.
I really want to get those people ideas about their democracy. I want just to apply it and bring it back to Iraq.
I'm hoping to attend the breakout sessions discussing global health and governance.
I'm here to learn more about health, education and leadership.
Get to know more about NGOs, entrepreneurship.
A lot of us are just on the outside looking in, and we need to now come together and make decisions.
I'm here to meet people, to get inspired.
It's a fusion of beautiful ideas.
I guess I'm also really excited about the chance to show people my hometown of Pittsburgh.
The world is not sustainable, it's too unstable, and it's too unequal. All the big challenges you will face will be in one of those three categories.
What we're suffering from in a period of transition, and indeed in every historic period of transition, is a chronic lack of leadership.
Money is not an excuse for good food. The best food in the world has always come from the poorest communities. Okay? It's knowledge, education.
It was a wicked and wild wind, blew down the doors to let me in, shattered windows and the sound of...
Each one of you can design a social business. Creativity is the power. Technology is the power. That's what you got.
I want to show that big doesn't necessarily mean bad, and that it's not only small, that it's beautiful.
We've built the entire company around the idea of transparency.
Let's go to the solutions and the actions.
Superheroes are just regular people that decided to put on a cape, right? Decide to be great, to put on their greatness.
This is for everybody who ever thought that they were powerless and couldn't make a difference.
One person can empower an entire community.
There is no can't, there is no won't, only how.
Large organisations have to take responsibility for their own behaviours and actions.
The times are changing. It's a moment in time to seize, really it is.
I'm enormously proud to be wearing one of those t-shirts.
To either help others and live a lie, or run away and be myself.
Que alguns jovens, assim como eu, pode também ter essa experiência.
So that other young people like myself can also have this experience someday.
Thank you. I want to thank you for all that you're doing and all that you will do to make life on our planet as beautiful as our planet is visibly beautiful from space.
And I think the soundbite and tweet probably of One Young World this year will be "the key is we."
Okay, so we're expecting great things from all of the delegates, 1,300 of you from 190 countries. And now we're going to move to meet the councillors.
So before we meet the councillors who are actually here tonight, some of them can't actually be at the opening ceremony, but you will be hearing from them over the coming days. And I'll just name a couple of the names. South Africa's greatest ever rugby captain, Francois Pienaar, the World Cup winning rugby captain, the one and only Arianna Huffington, Jamie Oliver, probably the world's most famous chef, but also, importantly, a very active food campaigner, John Barnes, one of the first ever black English footballers, Paul Pullman, the chief executive of Unilever, Hans Reitz, the founder and managing director of the Green Creative Lab, Kathy Calvin, the president and chief executive of the UN Foundation, Lucas Radibi, the former Leeds United and South African footballer, Siggy Probst, the chief executive of Siemens Africa, who've sponsored the Mandela University of Technology, Bethlehem Tilahun Alumo, the founder and chief executive of Soul Rebels, the first ever footwear company to be World Trade Organization Fair Trade certified. So you'll be hearing from them over the next 3 days. They're not here tonight, but the ones we do have here tonight, Kate.
Okay, and now One Young World delegates and ambassadors and our friends from all the schools in Johannesburg, brilliantly brought together by James Donald of Grassroots. It's time to welcome the One Young World councillors.
So every year we have a huge focus on bringing to One Young World councillors who really lead by example, who have standards of integrity and leadership that are unmatched in the world, and who are really genuine in their belief that this brilliant young generation can help lead the world to a better place. And most conferences have keynote speakers. I heard a phrase, somebody used a phrase recently, which was keynote listeners, and I thought it was a really good way to describe our One Young World councillors. So not only do they inspire the delegates, but they lend their fame and stature to get a lot more attention for what the young people have to say here. So please give a huge welcome to these brilliant leaders who are there to support you, the One Young World councillors.
We start with two brilliant South Africans, Ryk Neethling and Miller Matola, one of South Africa's leading sportsmen, a gold medalist swimmer at the Olympics and the first South African to compete in 4 successive Olympic Games, Ryk Neethling. And let's welcome back one of our 2012 One Young World councillors, the Chief Executive of the International Marketing Council, Brand South Africa, changing the way the world sees South Africa, Miller Matola.
Big round of applause. Next, we have a great and long-standing friend of One Young World and a councillor at every single summit, a broadcaster, author, and probably London's best-connected woman, Carol Stone. And from a company on a mission to change the world, the man in charge of Google in Southeast Europe, the Middle East and Africa, Mohammed Gaudat. Welcome to you both.
At her first One Young World Summit, Kenya's most listened to radio presenter hosts an agenda-setting morning show that addresses the issues facing the whole of Kenya, Caroline Mutoko. And the global general manager of Müller Quaker, the leader in tackling undernourishment, especially in children from low-income families, Johannes Evenblad.
We talk about the importance of brilliant female business leaders, and I'm delighted to welcome to the stage one of those, named African Woman Leader of the Year in 2011, ranked amongst Fortune's most powerful women, the Chief Executive of Barclays and ABSA in Africa, Maria Ramos.
And the founder of the first global organic baby food company in the world, Ella's Kitchen, Paul Lindley.
Keep going, that was supposed to be me.
Oh, sorry. Next, a renowned filmmaker whose films have premiered and won awards at all of the prestige major international film festivals, working extensively with UNESCO and Mother Teresa's projects in Ethiopia, Maya Sanbar Jamo. And the chairman and co-founder of CNBC Africa, chairman and founder of CNBC Arabia, and president and founder of CNBC Pakistan, Zafar Siddiqui.
We welcome back two fantastic councillors from last year, one of Europe's foremost journalists, the first ever TV anchor of French news, Christine O'Krent, And then a man who's done something that very few of the other councillors have done except one, or maybe will be doing. A man who's spent more than 178 days in space, 27 hours on spacewalks, and an advocate of global collaboration, the NASA astronaut Ron Garran.
Next, someone who sees huge potential for the continent of Africa and the role of finance in unlocking that potential. The Chief Executive of Standard Chartered Bank, it's a woman, Diana Layfield. And a great South African rugby star, Springbok legend, and the first person to take an HIV test live on television, Ashwin Willemse.
Next up, he's been a councillor at every single One Young World Summit. When he was first a councillor, he was the CEO of EMI, and that was how we got the great Coldplay music. He's now the CEO of Iglo, been a tireless supporter of ours, Elio Leonishetti. And then a member of the 2013 Johannesburg Advisory Board, one of the continent's foremost journalists and publishers, chairman of Alpha Media Holdings in Zimbabwe, executive deputy chairman of the Mail and Guardian Group, Trevor Nkube.
Trevor's on his way down. Our next councillor was just 16 when she first appeared on the cover of Vogue, but she is here not as a model but in a role as a social entrepreneur, having founded Impossible.com, a new social network with an emphasis on giving. Lily Cole. And from China, returning councillor, CCTV news anchor, and UNAIDS Goodwill Ambassador James Chow.
Next up, I'm delighted to introduce the first ever One Young World ambassador who has come back and joined us as a One Young World councillor. She exemplifies brilliant young people driving positive change in the world. Since 2007, her initiative has donated more than $6 million to charities and funded 60 million school meals. Lauren Bush. And once a child soldier, now a globally renowned recording artist and founder of the We Want Peace campaign for justice, equality and conflict prevention around the world through the power of music, Emmanuel Jal.
The winner of 49 career titles and the youngest player ever to win the men's singles title at Wimbledon, Boris Becker.
Joining us for his third summit, a man who is as committed to showing how business can be a force for the world as he is for helping us and supporting One Young World. Absolutely delighted to welcome Anthony Jenkins, the Chief Executive of Barclays.
From Pakistan, now joining us as a councillor for the third time, a journalist and activist and the scion of one of Pakistan's great ruling families. She's the daughter of one of those families, and her first novel, Shadow of a Crescent Moon, has just been published. Fatima Bhutto.
Now, when anybody makes a list of the world's greatest entrepreneurs, this man is always at the top of the list. A man who probably defines the word entrepreneur. His business ventures have disrupted entire industries. A veteran balloonist, the first across the Atlantic, and only 2 weeks ago broke a new kite surfing world record. Please welcome the founder of the Virgin Group, Richard Branson.
And now one of South Africa's living icons. 26 years and 3 months a political prisoner, 18 of them on Robben Island with our beloved Madiba. Ahmed Kathrada.
Now we're delighted to have him back for a fourth time. One of our longest ever standing councillors and supporters, who was there right at the start, has been an amazing inspiration and a hard taskmaster for us all. The man behind Band-Aid, Live Aid, Live 8. He brought the plight of Africa to the TV screens around the world. He's not only an incredibly famous musician, but he's an incredibly successful and famous activist for 3 generations, driving change in the world. Sir Bob Geldof.
Give us a kiss. And a councillor since 2010, the Nobel Peace Prize laureate, founder of the Grameen Bank in Bangladesh, creator of the concept of microcredit, the banker to the poor, Professor Muhammad Yunus.
And finally, a One Young World councillor from 2010 who's been a huge supporter of ours, the 7th United Nations Secretary General, the ultimate Secretary General of the United Nations, driving unbelievable positive change in the world, somebody who's done amazing things in terms of helping and encouraging young people, the Kofi Annan dialogues, which he's been running as Google Hangouts, to actually give young people a voice, to drive change in the world. Kofi Annan! So now, to deliver the keynote address at the first One Young World Summit in South Africa is one of the continent's greatest sons, one of the world's greatest statesmen, my personal hero, someone I'm fortunate to call a friend, the greatest ever of all UN Secretary Generals, somebody deeply concerned about young people and how he can inspire young people to drive and affect positive change in the world. Please give a huge welcome to Kofi Annan.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. May I begin? We all feel very young tonight. And I feel very young tonight because of you. You have brought the average age down, and we are all very young tonight. Let me thank you for the very warm welcome, and I am indeed delighted to be here. Nothing lifts my spirits more than having so many young people in front of me. And I'm thrilled that One Young World Summit is taking place for the first time in Africa, on our continent. The last time I was in this fantastic stadium was to watch the final of the 2010 World Cup, which for a football fanatic like me was a great privilege. The tournament was not just a South African achievement, but an African success. We all took pride in what this country was able to achieve and to organize. It brought our continent together and gave us the chance to highlight Africa's extraordinary progress and potential. Through the summit, we have the opportunity to showcase Africa's greatest resource, you, the young people. Together with your One Young World colleagues from around the world, you embody the talent and energy that is driving change, evolution, and creativity around the world. May I ask everyone to keep quiet, because we all want to hear what is going on. Silence, please. Good. We expect and we need great things from each and every one of you. You are, after all, the first generation that can genuinely call yourselves citizens of the world. You inhabit a planet where far more than any previous time, our futures and fortunes are closely connected. You know more about your counterparts in other parts of the world than ever before. The technology you use to communicate and share information allows you to bridge frontiers. National borders no longer contain you. You have wider horizons. There are no limits to what you can achieve. You are the smartest generation that we've ever had. You also think more deeply about the future and more concerned about the problems we face. I have heard some people say that young people only care about themselves or lack the determination to engage in issues and challenges we face as a global community. But let me tell you this. From my meetings with young people all over the world, from the involvement with the One Young World, and from my recent conversations with young people through the Kofi Annan Dialogues Live, I know this is nonsense. Wherever I have traveled, it has always been the commitment of young people to peace, equality, justice that has given me hope for the future. I have heard time and time again the fresh thinking and enterprising solutions you bring to difficult problems. The more I see of the strong values, solidarity, responsibility shown by the younger generation, the happier I am about the world and the fact that it will be in your hands. And there is good reason for your generation to care so deeply about fate of our planet. Look, for instance, at the challenge of sustainable development. It will be your generation and your children who will pay the price if we continue to plunder our natural resources, pollute the environment, and fail to eradicate poverty and hunger. It is you who will suffer the most from the impact of increasing climate change on living standards and quality of life. And yet, all too often, you are shut out from the discussions and decisions that will frame your future, your country's future, and your lives. This might be defensible if the present generation, my generation of leaders, were doing such a good job. But all around us, we can see the results of poor policies and governance. At the very time that the world is shrinking, it is also more divided. We know more about each other, but this knowledge has too often failed to generate greater understanding and tolerance. We continue to face stark divisions along ethnic, religious, and cultural and gender lines. The gap between rich and poor, between countries and within them, continue to increase. 1 billion people lack food to eat. Many thousands will die from diseases we know how to eradicate, to treat, and treat cheaply. And while all generations suffer from these inequalities and failures of governance, it is your generation which pays the highest price. It is always the youngest who suffer most from disease, lack of food, or conflict. It is young people who have been hardest hit by the impact of the current economic crisis. 1 in 2 of the planet's young people are neither working or studying, and paradoxically, 250 million children are out of school. Each of us here today knows that we have the knowledge, the resources, and the capability to overcome these challenges. What is needed is the political leadership and effective democratic institutions to make it happen. One of the best strategies to ensure we tackle these problems with urgency they require is to make sure your voices are heard. We need you to spur the present generation of leaders into action. We need you to bring forward that fresh thinking which will make the breakthrough. Above all, we need you to accept the mantle of leadership yourselves to drive change in your communities, in your companies and countries, and to remind us all that in a globalized world, we sink or swim together. That we will only succeed if we rediscover the common values which connect us all and make sure we act on them. For just as any successful community works because of shared values, so are our global community. It will only succeed if we promote and protect the values of our common humanity. And that is the purpose of this summit. It is an opportunity for you to discuss the way forward and to learn from each other. It is a way of bringing your voices together so that even the political leaders with the hardest hearing can't miss to hear what you're saying. This is your summit. You will hear from some great speakers, some of the best known and most successful people in the world. But it is your views that count, just as it is your leadership which we are dependent on. We need your courage and confidence, your energy and creativity. It is a big responsibility, but I know that if you retain the confidence that you can make a difference, that you won't let us down. I am much older than you are, but I believe we share one characteristic. I retain the optimism that we can change our world for the better. Indeed, I have seen this change in my lifetime, and you will build on it. When I first went to America as a young student, black people were still legally treated in the southern states as second-class citizens. Now, America has a black president. Look at what South Africa has achieved in the last 25 years. The transformation that has taken place was unimaginable. And even more recently, we have managed to reduce by 50% the number of people living in extreme poverty 5 years ahead of the 2015 Millennium Development Goal target. But this must just be the start, for the goal of eradicating extreme poverty in all its forms is within our grasp. But it requires all of you to drive this ambition forward. We need you to deliver a better world by thinking globally and acting locally. For the first generation of true global citizens, you must raise your sights beyond the short term. You must also work for change in every community so your collective efforts will result in progress across our planet. It is your world now. You must have the courage to change it for the better. Thank you very much, and carry on.
Now, one important thing, when Mr. Annan said he would like to hear your voices, he meant in the world, not whilst he's speaking. So if we could please just ensure, as Kat Lego said before, I know you're all excited to be here, but when we have people of the stature of Kofi Annan, of Bob Geldof, of Yunus on stage speaking, please pay them the respect of being quiet and listening to their speeches. Thank you.
And I would like to say to Mr. Annan, sir, your knowledge and openness inspires all of us to do more and to try harder and to dedicate our time to the young leaders of the world. One of the best parts of the opening ceremony is the flag-laying ceremony. There's a flag bearer from each of the 190 countries, brings their flag to the councillors and lays down their flags to show that the whole world is represented by One Young World. We're going to start that now.
And you can make as much noise as you
now
like.
Now you can make a noise up there.
Okay. So let's bring the flags in. Afghanistan.
Albania.
Algeria.
Andorra.
Antigua and Barbuda.
Argentina.
Armenia.
Australia.
Austria.
Azerbaijan.
The Bahamas.
Bahrain.
Bangladesh.
The flag of Bangladesh is presented to Professor Yunus.
Barbados.
You're presenting to Professor Yunus.
Belarus. Belgium.
Belize.
Benin.
Bhutan.
Bolivia.
Bosnia and Herzegovina.
Botswana.
Brunei Darussalam.
Brazil.
Brunei Darussalam, Bulgaria.
Bulgaria.
Burkina Faso.
Burundi.
Cambodia.
Cameroon.
Canada.
Cape Verde.
Central African Republic.
Chad.
Chile.
China.
Davy waits because you can't see it yet. Colombia.
Comoros.
The Democratic Republic of the Congo.
The Republic of Congo.
You're presenting to James. Costa Rica.
The Côte d'Ivoire.
Croatia.
Cuba.
Cyprus.
The Czech Republic.
Denmark.
Djibouti.
Dominica.
The Dominican Republic.
Ecuador.
Egypt.
El Salvador.
Equatorial Guinea.
Eritrea.
Estonia,
Ethiopia,
Fiji,
France.
Gabon.
Where are you? It's Christy. You're presenting to Christy.
Gambia,
Georgia.
Germany, which will be presented to Boris Becker.
Germany presents to Boris Becker. Ghana to Mr. Annan.
Greece, which will be presented to Rick Nietling, where he won the gold.
You okay, Clement? He doesn't like to be helped. To Mr. Annan.
Grenada,
Guinea. Guatemala.
Guinea-Bissau,
Guyana.
Haiti,
Honduras.
Hong Kong,
Hungary.
India,
Indonesia.
Iran,
Iraq and Kurdistan.
Ireland, which we presented to Bob Geldof.
Ireland to Bob. Israel.
Italy.
To Elio. To Elio. Jamaica.
Japan,
Jordan.
Kazakhstan,
Kenya to Caroline Matoko.
Kiribati,
The Republic of Korea.
Kosovo,
Kuwait.
Kyrgyzstan,
The People's Democratic Republic of Laos.
Latvia,
Lebanon, to be presented to Maya Sanbarjamo, who was born in Lebanon.
Lesotho,
Liberia,
Libya,
Liechtenstein,
Lithuania,
Luxembourg,
Madagascar,
Malawi,
Malaysia,
the Maldives,
Mali,
Malta,
Mauritania,
Mexico, to be presented to Councillor Johannes Evenblay.
and Mauritius, which we missed.
Jump up and grab it.
Micronesia,
The Republic of Moldova,
Mongolia,
Montserrat,
Montserrat,
Morocco,
apparently we didn't say Montenegro,
Montenegro,
Mozambique,
the flag of Namibia, to be presented to Ashwin Willemse.
Nauru,
Nepal,
the Netherlands,
New Zealand,
Nicaragua,
Niger,
Nigeria,
Norway,
Oman,
the flag of Pakistan, to be presented to Fatima Bhutto.
Palau,
The occupied territories of Palestine,
Panama,
Papua New Guinea,
Paraguay,
Peru,
the Philippines,
Poland,
Portugal, which will be presented to Maria Ramos,
to Maria Ramos, Puerto Rico,
Qatar, which will be presented to Zafar Siddiqui,
the Republic of Macedonia,
Romania,
Russia,
Rwanda,
Well, thanks very much, Peter. Well, indeed, there's a round of applause here as each person representing their nation goes to the stage to put their flag up there among the others representing the nations of the world. A short while ago, Kofi Annan gave that speech inspiring these young people to forge ahead and show the world what they can do to make this world a better place. He told them that they are perhaps the smartest generation collectively that the world has ever seen, that there is nothing that they cannot achieve, telling them just how impressed people like him, elderly people, are with their determination to engage, and just how assured the world's people are that this young generation will indeed take the world forward. And I think those words, as these youngsters continue to engage over the next couple of days, those words will ring in their minds and will indeed inspire them to have fruitful discussions and indeed decide on how best they as young people can take this world forward and make it better.
Turkey,
Turkmenistan,
Uganda, which will be presented to Paul Lindley,
Ukraine,
the United Arab Emirates,
to Mohammed Geldof, the United Kingdom,
which will be given to Richard Branson, the United States to Ron Garan,
to Richard,
Uruguay,
Uzbekistan,
Vanuatu,
Venezuela,
Vietnam,
the Yemen,
Zambia, which will be presented to Anthony Jenkins, who's just announced a partnership there, Zimbabwe to Trevor Nkube, and the African Union to Mila Matola.
Okay, and now this could be total chaos, okay? And now the biggest flag of all, the flag that unites us all as one young world. Are we ready? Okay. Are we ready? I can't see the events team. Here it comes. Go, go, go.
Okay, so can you now pass the flag back up to the volunteers? We'll send the flag back. And I'm now going to invite up onto the stage, or to speak to you, somebody very special, but I'm not going to do that until you're all quiet. So if you could all be quiet, and if Those of you who have somebody making a noise next to you, if you could ask them to be quiet so that we can get silence.
Over there.
So if we could have quiet in the stadium, please.
Guys, we can't continue if you don't give us just a few minutes of quiet to listen to Professor Yunus and Sabab Geldof, okay? But up there, can I ask you over there, there was a tremendous noise there whilst Mr. Kofi Annan was speaking, okay? Okay? Don't let the side down now, guys. Don't let the side down. Yeah? You can try.
And over there.
You won't win.
Okay, so he's been at every single One Young World Summit. I should be able to say that, shouldn't I? He's the father of social business. He's the inventor of microcredit, which has lifted millions of people out of poverty. He understands and urges young people to use their power to drive and affect positive change in the world. He's been an absolute inspiration to One Young World and to all of us. Please welcome, and then after you've welcomed him, please be very quiet whilst listening to Nobel laureate Professor Muhammad Yunus.
Thank you. Thank you. What a display. What a display of colors, energy, and youth. When you all brought all your flags, I bet even Kofi didn't see all these flags in one go in a series, that way you came forward with such an energy. Let's give a big applause for everybody, for the whole world, for the young people of the whole world. And make a very special applause for the host country, South Africa, for inspiring us all over the world, for fantastic things they have done. South Africa, we are grateful to you. You have inspired the whole world. Your leaders, Madiba, Nelson Mandela, and all the leaders who are deep at the heart of everybody around the world. Let's give a big applause for the leaders of South Africa. What South Africa has done, we can do it for the whole world. We can change it completely. Nobody ever thought the apartheid is going to get over. But you made it happen. You saved human dignity for the whole world. And all the impossibles that you see today will disappear like that if we work together. And that's what the message from South Africa is. When I was a young teacher in Bangladesh, the country was going through a terrible famine. People dying for not having tiny little food. 1,000 people died, hundreds of thousands of people died. And you see nothing but frustrations around here. And we were told by an American leader that Bangladesh is a basket case. No need to pay attention to that country. Today, this year, in 2013, Bangladesh has come out with the big news that Bangladesh has achieved the Millennium Development Goal number 1, reducing poverty by half. Not by 2015. We still have 2.5 years to go when we achieve that. And when Kofi and United Nations declared in 2000 all these 8 Millennium Development Goals, people laughed at them. These are crazy people. They don't mean business. They didn't believe that you can reduce poverty. Now, when Bangladesh comes out that announcement that we have achieved it, it has a special significance because Bangladesh was a basket case. People who are extremely poor. If that country can do this miracle, any country in the world can do it. And we'll make it happen. And we'll make it happen soon, by 2015. And we want to make sure by 2030, we end poverty in this planet. Nobody in this world would be called a poor person. Nobody in the world will be a poor person on this planet. Then we'll have a great museum, like you have a beautiful stadium here. We'll have a big museums to show the poverty, because there will be no poverty in the world, so we have to create museums for that, to tell people what poverty used to be like. And that's what you'll be doing. And that's what the youth can do. Because you are a very different kind of young generation. You're not like the young generation that we were. You are the most powerful young generation in the whole human history. Feel that power. It is in you. Not that you are a very special kind of young people. You are just a lucky young people. You are lucky because you are born in an age where all the impossibles are becoming possible. Because of the technology in your hand, the very powerful technology. Today, each one of you, not all of you together, just each one of you is capable of changing the whole world. Feel that power inside of you and make use of it. If you don't use your power, that will be wasted. Don't waste your power. Look at the world, what it used to be 25 years, 30 years back. There was a country called Soviet Union. Probably you don't even know these days. It's gone, finished. It doesn't exist. There was another big fight, big war about it. It just collapsed. There's a wall called Berlin Wall. It doesn't exist. It disappeared. You can go on listing things. They used to be called Cold War. You never heard of that. It doesn't exist. And you can have a whole list of those items which doesn't exist now. At that time, we thought, that's the world we have to live through. How lucky you are. Those things are gone. And then you have the technology in your capacity, in your hand. Those technologies which were never thought would be available to us. We can change everything with the application of that technology. You are the master of that technology. Our generation doesn't understand the technology that you have. Show that power. Go ahead. Take charge of the planet. If you take charge of the planet will be a different planet. What will happen 20 years, 25 years from now? Imagine that. You know, you watch the science fiction, movies, movie serials, all kinds of things happen in science fictions. People go into other galaxies, and unheard of things happen. And you think, okay, these are not real, this will never happen. You know what? Whatever you see in those science fictions, science follow that and make it happen. But unfortunately, we don't write social fictions. We need to write social fictions. Things that we want to see happen. It doesn't exist now, but we want to make them happen. So we will have movies about social fictions. We will have television series on social fictions. That's the kind of world we want. Then we, all of us, will follow that, make it happen. If you imagine, it will happen. If you don't imagine, it will not happen. So one of the tasks that you carry with you from the One Young World, to let your imagination blossom. Think about it. It doesn't cost anything to let your imagination kind of flourish. The more imagination you'll have, more things will happen quickly. Today, the distance between impossible and possible is shrinking. It's no longer big distance between impossible and possible. You are lucky that still some impossibles are there. Future generations will be very unlucky because of you. Because we'll make all the impossibles possibles. They will be getting bored, not knowing what to do. You have such an exciting job to do. We have to create a world where nobody will be a poor person. And we can do that. And we can fix a date. And I'm suggesting 2030 as the date. Let's work together because we can do things very, very fast, faster than we ever did. We can create a world where nobody will be an unemployed person. There is no reason whatsoever why a young person would be unemployed. There's nothing wrong with the young person. He's as capable, she's as capable as anybody else in the world. Why should anybody be unemployed? Who punishes a young person to remain unemployed? Not him, not her. It is the system which is punishing the person. Should the system punish a person? Should the system punish the people? Or people should punish the system? So we have to redesign the system. That's why we talk about social business, another kind of business. We know only one kind of business because of our narrow-mindedness. The profit-making businesses, profit-centric businesses. Human beings are much bigger than just being selfish. Human being as big in selflessness anybody can think of. Why don't we create business on the basis of selflessness and create businesses to solve problems? If you bring all our creative capacity, your creative capacity, that's what you're good for. If you bring all your creative capacity and use it in a business way to solve all the problems we have around us, all these problems will disappear. And that's what we want to do. And let's get ahead of it and make sure that we solve all the problems that we see in front of us. We bring all our capacity to make that happen. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, so I want to thank so many of you who are trying to listen so nicely, okay? Say to the control team, after this next, we'll go straight to Lira, please, okay? Can we get ready for that? Now, you're very, very lucky because you've heard Mr. Kofi Annan and Professor Yunus speaking to you live. Very few people in the world have such a privilege. Now, this last counselor is going to talk to you, and he is the toughest counselor. And he doesn't take no for an answer. And he has made life very difficult for heads of government and heads of business all over the world, and for me and David. He is the one, the only, Africa's greatest visiting friend, Sir Bob Geldof.
Thank you. The worst of progress is not that it's an illusion, it's that it's endless. And while you've heard two of the great old radicals of our world, I'm certainly old, I'm not sure I'm a radical, talk about the possibility of progress, sometimes it just may not be possible. Sometimes, for whatever reason, the world decides in a fit of madness that it will create chaos and suicide and begin to kill itself. Personally, I believe we're in a very fraught time now. All generations fail, but my generation, disgracefully, has failed more than others. You cannot afford to let your generation fail. There will not be another World War I or World War II. There will be a mass extinction event. And contrary to the optimism of Mohammed and Kofi, this could well happen on your watch. And all the signs are there that it will happen. And it will happen soon. And so coming together today gives a sense of urgency. Forget youth. Youth is no more radical than the radicalism of the men we've just heard. You have everything to gain by your radicalism. They have nothing to lose. But because you may not believe that progress is possible, should not prevent you from trying for it. Because the alternative is finality. Now, ladies and gentlemen, and we have to consider ourselves as ladies and gentlemen, not boys and girls. We meet in a new country that is the proof, as Kofi and Mohammed have just said, of what positive action taken together can achieve. South Africa genuinely is a miracle and a model not just to the rest of the continent, but to the entire world. But it is possible that you, with your flags and your separation of nations, cannot achieve that, except somehow working in some transnational entity like One Young World. And every year I say the same thing. All the fun, all the singing, all the racket, all the flags are as nothing. Nothing. If you do not leave this stadium with clear intent that you will be leaders of your nations, that you will understand that the problems we face are rarely national. They are global from now on in. And in your pocket is the means to discuss and have dialogue, not monologue, dialogue transnationally. Kofi made the United Nations for the first time relevant and important. Mohammed Yunus made it possible to ignite the electricity of the poor and drag them into the global commonweal of economic good. It is in our interest to have the poor with us producing things, because then they can have money to buy our stuff and we have the money to buy theirs. That is clear. Will it happen? It's possible. It's possible. You can set a date of 2030. That's possible. But last week, in a report that was vaguely noticed, the scientists of the world said we may not get to 2030. We need to address the problem of climate change urgently, boring as it is. The rhetoric of climate change is boring, but urgently today and now. Because I tell you this, in the One Young World Conference of 2030, some of the nations that arrived here so proudly at our feet-step right now will not be there to meet us. What will you do about it? You must get serious. No doubt it's part of your agenda. But the ordinary trouble of ordinary days don't seem to matter much. We are in an existential period of our short human history. And there is a great dissatisfaction in modern man. Bertrand Russell, the great English philosopher, said there's a sense of dissatisfaction at the heart of modern man. It's why propaganda fills us with hatred rather than friendly feelings. It's why propaganda has such a purchase on our emotions of hatred. And he said there's this grave existential dissatisfaction because we somehow feel we've missed something, that there is something greater than ourselves that we don't know how to find or even where to look for it. And he calls it the great heroic pain of modern man's human existence. We can obviate that pain. And Russell suggests it's the need to think of something greater than ourselves. In your own lives, you know that the ordinary pain of ordinary days passes because someone else's pain is greater, and you lend your efforts towards that, and you feel better, you feel more human. We need to be a little more human. Less Irish, less British, less Cameroonian, less South African, less Russian, less Chinese, more human. Poverty is at the core of this, as Muhammad said, and from it stems all the evils of fundamentalism, terrorism, nuclear proliferation, corruption, climate change. And those countries that now suffer from resource shortage will pass. I urge you, not with anger, but with vehemence, to gather your constituency around you, to talk to each other during the next course of this year, and force upon your governments the agenda that when they go to the United Nations and throughout the diplomatic year, the sole subject of this year will be climate change, the need to mitigate it on behalf of the poor of this world, or otherwise they simply will not be with us. Ladies and gentlemen, One Young World, it's great to see you again. I'm sorry to be so bloody miserable as usual. Get on with it.
So we're now going to invite the councillors to lead the stage. So a huge round of applause for them, please. If you like. Going to come down this way. Thank you so much. Let's hear it for the councillors.
Okay, now it's not over for you because you're going to hear a fantastic set from Lyra and the Soweto Gospel Choir.
So she's going to be performing Feel Good from her multi-platinum award-winning album of the same name. We heard her in practice, and she really is quite unbelievable, with the most amazingly powerful voice that is potentially even sufficiently powerful to drown out your voices. It's obviously incredibly significant that we are here in Africa. We're incredibly excited about what the next 3 days are going to bring and the change that you can drive in the world. And this country is an amazing example of when one or two dedicated, committed people who believe in change, set out to drive change, that they really can.
And just so you understand, the reason that the children from the Soweto and Johannesburg schools have been leaving in the last half hour is that their buses have to leave so that they can get home safely. So we just need to understand that. Okay? So stay in your seats for a couple of minutes. Take a big breath. And David and I are going to leave the stage now. And delegates, we will see all of you very, very early tomorrow morning for the start of the 4th One Young World. Thank you all.
So please welcome singer, songwriter, style icon, and businesswoman, Lyra.
One, two.
Hey, hey, ho. Hey, come on, one young world. Hey, one young world. Now, come on. Hey, hey. I just wanna feel good every day. I wanna wear a smile on my face. I wanna feel the joys of the day. I wanna feel alive in every moment. Said I won't waste time on feeling blue. I won't waste time on things I cannot change. I'm gonna leave this day as best as I can. I'm doing everything that feels right. Come on, sing it loud and proud. La 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 la. Hey, hey. La 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 la. You sounded wonderful to me. La 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 la. Hey, hey, hey. La la la. I wanna hear the laughter of a child. I wanna feel a hug from a loving friend. I wanna hear I love you every now and then. I wanna show somebody that I care. 'Cause feeling good is a choice that we all make. It's just like a smile, it's more effort you make. I love to feel the newness of a brand new day. I'm happy to be alive today. Sing la 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 la. La 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 la. Hey, hey, hey. La 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 la. Hey, hey, hey. La 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 la. Oh, sing it la la la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Feel a burst of joy within my soul. I feel good today. Come on, let me see you clap your hands. Come on, come on, come on. Give it up for my fabulous dancers, please. Hello, everybody. How you guys doing? It's so good to see you. I get the pleasure now to introduce the amazing Grammy Award winning, amongst many other awards, the Soweto Gospel Choir back on stage. They make us so proudly South African. We're going to perform a very beautiful song that was written in the 70s by Labby Sifri. A song that really celebrates the amazing power of the human spirit. It speaks about resilience and human potential. You guys are fortunate enough to be a part of this summit and learn to become leaders in your world today. The most wonderful thing about it is that you guys get a chance to change the world. And as we sing this song to you, remember the journey that our country has traveled, and remember that you have the power to change our world. Enjoy. Please give it up for the Soweto Gospel Choir. The higher you build your barriers, the taller I become, yeah. The further you take my rights away, the faster I will run, yeah. You can deny me, you can decide to turn your face away. No matter, 'cause there's something inside so strong. I know that I can make it. No, you're doing me wrong, so wrong. You thought that my pride was gone. Oh no, something inside so strong. Oh, something inside so strong. The more you refuse to hear my voice, the louder I will sing. Yeah. You hide behind the walls of Jericho.
Ladies and gentlemen, the beautiful Lira and Soweto Gospel Choir! A One Young World round of applause, please, for these wonderful entertainers and performers. Absolutely, what an honor to have you here with us. Beautiful as always. Now, I hope that you've enjoyed the proceedings of the night so far. We are going to break for a little while to enjoy some supper, which is at the back at the Hyacinth level. All of the One Young World volunteers will direct you, delegates, as to where you can get yours. Please make sure to take all of your belongings with you, but make your way back because there is still lots more to come tonight before we start off with the official proceedings of the summit tomorrow. Let's give another round of applause for our performers. Absolutely fantastic. Enjoy the supper.